Kansas City's hometown sports station, Sports Radio 810.
Here we go.
Kansas City.
Sports Radio 810 WHB now presents the A&B Car Star Aldi Food Market High School Football Game of the Week. Now your announcers for tonight's game, Jay Binkley and the voice of high school football on Sports Radio 810 WHB, Nick McCabe.
Welcome to Ray-Pec High School, where tonight the Ray-Pec Panthers in Class 6 host the defending Class 5 state champs, the Lee Summit West Titans. We started a couple of minutes early here, so we apologize. We're getting to you after kickoff here. It's 2nd down and 5 for Lee Summit West. They fire a pass over the middle. That is completed, and up the left sideline goes Lee Summit West, and this is going to be a touchdown. We got here just in time as Austin Panko takes a short crossing route, 80 yards for a touchdown and an early Lee Summit West lead just over 1 minute into the game. Simple crossing route as Panko lined up in the slot right, crossed over, going right to left, running away from the press box in the home side here, and then just outran the defense to the corner after he caught it and was able to take it all the way up the left sideline. Now some confusion on the point after team. We have a late addition to the right side of that blocking formation. Shannon Van Ross, a senior, coming on a little late. Here is the extra point, and it is good. Brad Clements knocks it through. And just like that, Lee Summit West on top, 7-0. Lee Summit West appeared to take the opening kickoff all the way back for a touchdown as Shaq Harrison fielded it just outside the goal line, took it all the way up the right sideline, got pushed right up against the sideline inside the 5, but was ruled that he made it all the way to the end zone, but it was called back for a holding penalty back at the 25. Lee Summit West started at the 15. One short Luke Knott run of 5 yards, and then the 80-yard home run on 2nd down to Austin Panko, and Lee Summit West leads it early, 7-0. Lee Summit West's offense anchored by 2 Division I athletes. Luke Knott, the quarterback, really came on late in the season in their playoff run when they needed him to be good. He was, including a career game of 314 yards in the state championship win over Webster Groves. Really showed the world that he can throw the football, had 4 long touchdown passes in that game. Lee Summit West kicks off now. Aaron Russell steps into the end zone, and he is across the goal line. That is an automatic touchdown in high school football, and it will be 1st and 10 for Ray-Pec at their own 20-yard line. Ray-Pec replacing a legend at quarterback. Cameron Kaufman was a 3-year starter plus some, but he has departed after a 6-5 senior season, the first year in Class 6 for Ray-Pec. Tough schedule, and they held their own, made the playoffs, lost to Blue Springs in the opening round. So the new quarterback is Spencer Vogelsmeyer. Did not attempt to pass last year. His only stat was 1 tackle. He gives it on a toss play to Aaron Russell, who gets stacked up and dropped for a loss of 3. Russell last year played a lot, but was more of a pass catcher than he was a runner. 14 carries, 139 yards, averaged 10 yards a carry, but then 43 catches for 437 yards and 3 touchdowns. As Ray-Pec ran a 5 wide receiver spread much of the time, 4 wide receivers all the time. They're going to go back to that more traditional wing T formation. 2 wing backs and a fullback. The wing backs lined up very tight against the line of scrimmage. Now this is more of a shortened I formation and a whistle before the play. And we've got a delay of game on Ray-Pec. They didn't get the snap off in time. Vogelsmeyer, a 6'3", 200-pound senior. They think he's very capable. Battled Trey Hodges, a junior, to the very end of camp before getting the starting nod. Brady James, the starting fullback, also involved in that quarterback competition. Vogelsmeyer and Hodges separated themselves first, but they went into camp this year not knowing among three different guys who was going to be their starting quarterback. First time that's happened here under Tom Cruise in 12 years. Now here's a throw out of the backfield. Travis Goodman, the fullback, made the catch. Big hit applied for Lee Summit West. Michael Holt with a big hit, starting linebacker for Lee Summit West. James, we mentioned the starting fullback. He'll rotate a lot with Goodman. Nick Guerrera, starter last year for Ray Peck in the backfield, returns at running back. Again, though, had more rushing yards or less rushing yards than he did receiving yards. 443 through the air and 3 touchdowns, 182 yards on the ground. Ray Peck not an effective running team a year ago. Now they face third down at about 12 from the 18. Here's a pass, incomplete, a little too far out in front of his intended wide receiver. Guerrera was the intended receiver, but he couldn't bring it in, and he was going to be short of the first down anyway. So we've got a fourth down situation for Ray Peck. 3 and out for the Panthers after Lee Summit West had taken an early 7-0 lead. Panko and Miller back to return this punt for Lee Summit West. Here's a flag flying as the snap is taken. It's going to be Miller returning it across midfield, up the left sideline at the 45, steps out in front of his own bench, right at the 41-yard line. Punt from Dylan Myers. Went about 35 yards. It's a legal formation against Ray Peck. That is the penalty.
That penalty will be declined.
Penalty is declined, so
We'll take the result of the play. It'll be first.
Lee Summit West will take over at the 41 of Ray Peck. And this game in danger of getting out of hand here early, as Lee Summit West already taken advantage of a big home run play, an 80-yard pass from Luke Knott to Austin Panko, giving them a 7-0 lead. We're less than 3 minutes into this game. 3 wide receiver set. Shotgun snap to Luke Knott. Handoff taken by Marcus Strickland. Knott, the starting quarterback, 1,810 yards on the season, 18 touchdowns, 6 picks, but threw for 314 yards and 4 touchdowns of 26, 25, 65, and 46 yards in the state title game. Marcus Strickland, the starting running back, with Judd Kern lined up at fullback. They're split back right now. Beside Knott, who's still in shotgun formation. 3 wide receiver set. Strickland on his left with Kern on Knott's right. It's 2nd and 8. 2nd and 7, call it, after a 3-yard run from Strickland. Fake handoff, Knott right up the middle, and he's to the 20, to the 10. Nobody's going to catch him. Touchdown, Luke Knott. He had 725 rushing yards last year, and now he just tacked on 38 to his 2011 total, and his first rushing touchdown of the year. So Knott with a touchdown passing and running. And just like that, it is 13-0 Lee Summit West with just 8:15 left in the first quarter. On for the extra point is Clements. Snaps a little high, but they got it down. Kick is good. Connor Hartnett, the backup quarterback, is the holder, and he did a good job getting that snap down. We'll take our first time out. Lee Summit West 14, Ray Peck nothing. 8:15 to play in the first on the A&B CarStar High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Aldi. Aaron Russell returned the kick out to the 29-yard line and now takes the first handoff on first down, 1 yard to the 30. It'll be 2nd and 9. And we've already got a new quarterback into the game, it would appear. It's Trey Hodges. They started with Spencer Vogelsmeyer. He got just one series. And now it's Trey Hodges, who lost the quarterback competition to Vogelsmeyer, who moves into the quarterback position. Russell lined up on one wing. He's the guy they want to feature. Hodges handed it off up the middle to the fullback. Not much running room there. Maybe 2 to the 32-yard line.
Brady James, the ball carrier for the Panthers.
The wide receivers for Ray-Pec. Walker Evans, a player Tom Cruise really likes, 6'4", 205-pound senior, had 400 yards and 3 touchdowns receiving last year with Michael Prelo, who replaces Trevor Vogelsmeyer, Spencer's older brother. Trevor, great wide receiver here, had a 1,000-yard season last year, was an Otis Taylor finalist. Going to the outstanding wide receiver in Kansas City. Hodges rolling out to his right on 3rd and 7, delivers a pass too high and incomplete. That was intended for Walker Evans, but way off the mark and really not much of an opening there. And a second straight 3 and out now for Ray-Pec. Tough challenge here for Ray-Pec tonight, playing a very good Lee Summit West team that is looking extremely sharp here in the opener. It's 14-0 with 6:45 to play here in the first quarter. And again, Ray-Pec punting from deep in their own territory. Dylan Myers boots it. Spiraling kick is going to bounce at the 42 in Lee Summit West territory. Takes a Ray-Pec bounce down to the 26. 6:32 to play, first quarter. Let's try and give you these Lee Summit West starters. We've had trouble giving you the starters here so far, with Lee Summit West scoring in just a couple of plays. They haven't faced third down yet, and they haven't got a first down yet. They've scored on long plays on both of their first 2 drives. And Ray-Pec hasn't been able to get a first down either because they haven't been able to move the ball. 2 3 and outs from the Panthers. Third possession for Lee Summit West starts at their own 26. Luke Knott's receivers are Shaq Harrison, who had more than half of his season total in the state championship game. 4 catches, 111 yards, and a touchdown in that championship win over Webster Groves. Handoff up the middle to the fullback, Judd Kern. And Kern rumbles for a pretty good gain of 6 yards to the 32. It'll be 2nd and 4. Austin Penko, we met him earlier with an 80-yard touchdown reception already tonight. Had 477 yards and 6 touchdowns. Their leading returning receiver. Evan Boehm, the starting left tackle. He is a 4-year starter here for Lee Summit West and is headed to the University of Missouri, maybe the top recruit in Kansas City for the 2011 class. Here's a little counter toss to Marcus Strickland with running room. And he's out to midfield and brought down at the 46-yard line. First down for either team. Again, because Lee Summit West has scored long touchdowns before moving the chains, Ray-Pec has had to punt after 3 downs each of their first 2 possessions. Boehm lined up next to Caleb Foster, a returning starter. Then the 3 guys from the center on out to the right are new this year: Hunter Hansen, Tyler Reed, and Kyle Morrison. Morrison, big player though, 6'4", 270. Their line goes 305, 260, 245, 265, and 270. That is a huge offensive line for high school football. Back to pass goes not on 1st and 10. He's looking for the home run ball. He's got Shaq Harrison, overthrew it a little bit, and Harrison went and got it. Made a tremendous diving catch. Not overthrew that by just a foot. If Harrison had been able to catch it in stride, he would have scored easily. Instead, he had to dive to make the catch. Pretty ball from Knott. And Harrison, his receiver, picked him up, went and got it. Starting defense for Ray-Pec. They're missing 4 starters here tonight, including Jake Scribner, a junior who was a returning starter. It's Brad Jewell, Larry Maddox, C.J. Donaldson, and Dylan Doss up front as they're going to toss it to Strickland. He's looking for running room. He's got it, and he gets inside the 5 to the 2 before being brought down
Brought down to the play by Jacquard Fears.
Jacquard Fears, the cornerback. Linebackers are Logan Smith and Colin Pratt. They run the kind of a 4-2-5 defense. Trevor Leininger and Mason Knoll are kind of these outside hybrid safety linebacker guys. The corners are Christian Arnold and Fears, who just made that last tackle. In the free safety, an important position, is a sophomore, Marcus Zweifel. That was the spot Deron Washington had manned for the past couple of years. High formation behind Knott on 2nd and goal from the 2. Not going to try and quarterback sneak it in. Great push from the Lee Summit West offensive line, and it's a touchdown. Lee Summit West. What an impressive start to their 2011 season. This team looks ready to repeat. 4:20 to play in the first quarter. They are on the road against a Class 6 program with tremendous tradition and held their own in a brand new tough Class 6 schedule last year. And here tonight, though, Lee Summit West is dominating this game. Looks like Ray Peck jumped off sides on the extra point, but I think it went through. So the point is going to... that's a dead ball foul, so they'll have to kick it again. Just can't say enough about the impressive start. We're obviously here on the home side for Ray Peck, and our crowd mic not picking up much noise. Not a lot going on here on the Ray Peck sidelines, as all the cheering has been done on the far side. This has been a nice rivalry over the years. Extra point is good. 21-0. It looks like Lee Summit West has taken a decisive edge in this rivalry, at least for the 2011 season. They're all over Ray Peck here early. 21-0 on the high school football game of the week.
I want to thank you to our 2 Ray Peck Athletic Booster Club business sponsors, Outdoor Solutions. Call Kurt for all your lawn and landscape needs.
I don't hear anything.
Jones is the proud sponsor of our Ray Peck Panthers this year, and they're looking forward to the Panthers.
Oh, say what? Hello?
You got a break?
Reach out.
Yeah.
You're sponsoring Edward Jones Financial Advisors. Bill Park.
Take the Aldi Food Market chapel.
Sorry, I was talking to Danny. I didn't hear you.
To see how much you save. Cart to cart, there's no beating Aldi Food Markets. Aldi Food Market, honest to goodness savings.
Tired of driving hassles? Then take advantage of this special offer. DWI, the easy way to stop driving for weeks, months, or even forever. Just drive drunk anywhere in Missouri and lose your driving privileges.
Russell, and now the
lifestyle of embarrassment and inconvenience. One week, there's more. You'll soon get the fun-filled roadside coordination test, and you'll be whisked away for a night you'll never forget. Officers are standing by now.
10 seconds. Arrival live. This has been brought to you by the Third Coalition for Roadway Safety.
Results in a touchback first and 10 Panthers at the 20-yard line.
WHB. Give A&B CarStar a call at 816-7.
Spencer Vogelsmeyer is quarterback for the Panthers.
That's the voice of Jay Binkley. He'll be here in just a moment, frantically making his way from Blue Springs, Missouri, where he hosted high school game day. Right now, he has missed 3 touchdowns here early from Lee Summit West. It's 21-0 Titans with 4:20 to play in the first quarter, beg your pardon. Lee Summit West kickoff went deep into the end zone. No chance for a return, and now here is Russell on first down, trying to get the edge, and no room to turn the corner, and he is stacked up for a loss of 2. Let's give you the starting offensive line. Zach Oschel, Justin Thomas, a returning starter. Oschel, by the way, 6'6", 280-pound junior. Dustin Pugh, the starting center, just 200 pounds. The right guard, 205, and Dominique Lee. And David Gotze, a returning starter on the right side, 6'5", 245 senior. Lee Summit West defense has been phenomenal. They have not allowed Ray Peck a first down yet. Probably about 6 or 7 total yards of offense for Ray Peck thus far in the game. They didn't get any on that last play. Now here's a lob pass, and it's too far out in front of his intended receiver, Michael Prelo. Prelo, a senior. No chance to catch up to that one. Back to Vogelsmeyer, by the way, at quarterback. So Tom Cruz just rotating his quarterbacks, trying to see what he's got. from his 2 signal callers. Chris Wiseman, Ryan Richardson, Lane Pennington, and Logan Stark, 3 of 4 starting defensive linemen for Lee Summit West, returning starters. Give you the linebackers after this 3rd and 10 play. Spread formation with 2 wing backs and 3 wide receivers. Now they send a man in motion out of that wing, and now it's going to be Vogelsmeyer tucking it and running, and he's got a first down. Gets out to the 32-yard line, a gain of 12. Vogelsmeyer couldn't find anybody open, but was able to escape and run for 12 yards and get a first down, the first down of the game for Ray Peck. Outstanding linebacker group is led by the middle linebacker Nick Ramirez, a sophomore a year ago, had 119 tackles, 4.5 sacks, and 10 tackles for loss. Ramirez with a couple of Division I offers. Now they're going to throw for Prelo, and it's incomplete. Excellent coverage provided by Logan Cheadle, who happens to be the nephew of actor Don Cheadle. Ramirez starting in the linebacker core with Spencer Brown, who had 112 tackles last year as a junior, and Boston Woodworth, who's also a returning starter, 47 tackles on the year. Michael Holt with 34 tackles a year ago is the starting outside linebacker. So really those 7 of those front 8 guys are all significant contributors from a year ago. Question marks for Lee Summit West are in the secondary. We'll get to that in a moment after this 2nd and 10 play. Shotgun formation for Vogelsmeyer. Under some pressure as he rolls to the left. Lobs a football down the field and incomplete. Again, excellent coverage provided by Cheadle. Pass was intended for Jack Richards. Or beg your pardon, Jamal Williams, the intended receiver. And that starting secondary, Cheadle, a sophomore, looking very good in coverage so far. And Micah Jenkins, the other corner, he had 5 tackles a year ago. So those 2 guys had 5 tackles between them. Brandon Miller, though, played quite a lot a year ago and had 21 tackles, 2 tackles for loss, and 4 picks. Miller, the starting free safety now for Lee Summit West. 3rd and 10 now as we go under 3 minutes to go in the first quarter. Vogelsmeyer under pressure, hit, and the ball comes loose, and they're going to call it an incomplete pass. That is Nick Ramirez getting into the backfield and causing problems for Vogelsmeyer, who was lucky that was not ruled a fumble. It's now 4th and 10 from the 32. 1 first down for Ray Peck, and now they're going to be forced to punt. Let's welcome Jay Binkley into the booth after a furious drive from Blue Springs.
Yes, that's right, Nick. A furious drive, but I am here, and it doesn't look like I've missed much.
You have missed a lot, actually. Quite a lot. It's been a Lee Summit West dominating performance thus far. The punt is going to be fielded by Lee Summit West, now turned up midfield. Good blocking to the 30, to the 25. Skips a tackle at the 20. Cuts it back inside at the 10. And dives for the end zone. And he gets there. Austin Panko with as good a punt return as you will ever see. Getting the touchdown for Lee Summit West. How about that for the first play you've seen?
It's sloppy tackling, Nick, and that's the one thing you hope you have in the first game of the year, because it's defense that's usually ahead of offense. It's usually offense that takes a little bit of the acclimation process, but tonight it's been Lee Summit West full force with their offense.
Incredible start to this game for Lee Summit West with 2.5 minutes left in the first quarter. An extra point makes it 28-0. Jay, impressive start to Lee Summit West, who obviously looks extremely sharp here in the opener.
Well, when you think about it, one of the most prepared teams in this city to make another repeat performance, it's Lee Summit West. You can talk about the same thing with Rockhurst, except they're breaking in a new quarterback. Rockhurst has 15 returning starters. Lee Summit West has 17, but they have a returning starter at the key position, and that is quarterback. Luke Knott, of course, going to Iowa State, but that big, huge offensive line that they have, and these are serious players for Royce Bame. I mean, they show up to practice practice. You played the interview in the pregame about wanting a team motto. I mean, these guys wanted it. It was called Stay the Course, and that's exactly what they've done.
Let's check in for a scoring update with Brian Spano out of Rockhurst and Blue Springs. Brian?
Well, he just gave me the score.
Oh, beg your pardon. That's okay. What's the score, Jed?
7-7. Jordan Walker just had a 46-yard run for a touchdown for the Rockers. He was 107 yards rushing.
Jordan Walker with 107 yards rushing, 7-7 Rockhurst and Blue Springs.
And Walker was a guy that they thought could fill that void of Noah Pearl. Just one in a long string of good running backs at Rockhurst.
Here's the kickoff. And it is going to get into the end zone by about 5 yards. Clements, a great start as well.
First and 10 Panthers at the 20-yard line.
He's made all of his extra points and has, I believe, booted 3 of 4 kickoffs into the end zone for touchbacks. Just a truly impressive start for Lee Summit West. And Royce Boehm, Jay, it's been a common refrain. Every article I've read, the interview you did with him, he's talked about coming off of that 2007 state championship, and in 08 they came out flat. They didn't work as hard in the offseason as they needed to, and they went 9-4, which is a pretty good season by most school standards, but he thought they could have been better. As we get a handoff on first down, a little misdirection from Ray Peck. Lee Summit West not fooled as the ball ended up in the hands of Nick Guerrera.
Well, this defense last year for Lee Summit West, they only gave up 14 points a game. They had 4 shutouts a year ago. And all those young returning starters, Chris Wiseman on the defensive line is 6'4", 230. Royce Boehm, a little bit surprised that he's not getting the Division I looks that he should. If you remember, Nick, he's the guy that you and I looked at each other several games at Lee Summit West going, is he making every play? But Chris Wiseman all over the place. And, of course, Nick Ramirez as well, the linebacker. This kid just a junior, great size. Royce Boehm loves this guy. Look for this guy to get D1 looks next year.
Now here is Hodges back in at quarterback. He is running for his life, and he gets over to the sidelines, and a vicious tackle.
Picks up 4 yards to 25.
Got about 4 yards out of it. Hodges got absolutely planted over there by Ryan Richardson, a 6'1", 240-pound defensive tackle. Hodges.
Richardson also in on the play for the team.
It's a rough tackle.
Yeah, this is a physical defense. The teams they struggled against last year, Nick, were the throwing football teams. Lee Summit was able to put some points up on Lee Summit West because of able to throw the football. Ray Peck is in a transition year now at quarterback. They don't have a Kaufman at quarterback like they've had so many years with Carson and Cameron.
Pistol formation on third down and about 5, and no running room there. And now a late flag.
Yeah, that was
too physical.
That was Chris Wiseman coming from that outside, and he is a load to block. Teams really need to bring in a tight end and kind of help chip him. The offensive tackle is just not the type of guy that can just block one-on-one with Chris Wiseman. I'm not just saying this. We're saying this from experience, from seeing the intensity of the way this guy plays with good leverage as well. 6'4", 230 pounds, long arms, uses him to his advantage to swim right across that tackle, one-on-one situations. And if you don't have the tight end out there, at least keep a back out there to help chip him.
Well, there was a personal foul flag on Boston Woodworth. A little bit of a late hit there. And it's going to give Ray Peck their second first down of the game as we are at the 1.5-minute mark of the first quarter. Ray Peck trailing 28-0 here on their home field. Under center goes Hodges. He'll send Guerrera in motion. Handoff is going to go to Russell, and there is no running room for Russell. He gets dropped for a loss of 3 yards. Tackle made by Lee Summit West. Jamon Boyd.
Second and 13 from the 33.
You know, last year the blemish on this record for Lee Summit West came in week 4 to Blue Springs South, losing 41-17. The previous 2 weeks, this defense had only given up 6 total points. Lee Summit put 39 points on them in a losing effort and down the line at the end of the year.
4-4 defense looks ready to attack on 2nd and 13. Throw over the middle is caught. Nice catch made by Prelo. I beg your pardon, that's Walker Evans who made the catch. And that is good for a gain out to the 41-yard line. Call it about an 8-yard pickup.
Yeah, Lee Summit West isn't shy about blitzing in this football game, and that time left a little space there in the defense. They'll cover 2 defense and able to get in that seam in the inside part of the field and get some positive yards. But Ray Peck just not able to get good yardage on first down. It's putting them in a hole for second and third.
And that's going to be the end of the first quarter. 28-0 our score. Lee Summit West with a big lead. Ray Peck faces 3rd and 5 in their own territory when we come back on Sports Radio 810's Game of the Week, brought to you by A&B CarStar and Aldi Food Mart. Getting handled on their home field by Lee Summit West. It was a terrific first quarter for the defending state champion Titans. 28-0 is the lead. Ray Peck with 3rd and 5 from their own 41-yard line. Score update from Liberty Park Hill. No score at the end of 1.
Let's go, Ray Peck!
There you go, is what you were saying.
Big
the offense
Andre
is,
Pipkins playing for Park Hill. It's going to Michigan. What's that, Nick?
Offense is behind the defense usually
is.
At this state.
Usually is at this point of the season. Good football games around the city tonight. Ray South, Blue Springs South as well.
Hodges takes the snap. Under some pressure, nobody open, lobs it up for grabs, and a great catch made by Aaron Russell right at the first down marker, and that will move the chains.
Aaron Russell, only 5'8", 165. That ball was basically thrown up for grabs. Several people on defense looking at it, probably thinking, are they going to return this? 5'8", gets up and gets the football, does Russell, and pulls it in for a first down for Ray Peck. He needed first down. This offense has got to get something moving against the Titans.
That had been a rebound. He might have been over the back.
Yeah, it was close to it, but there were several players, at least Summit West, wanting to come down, but Russell got up in the air.
Great play by Russell, who again had almost a good 3 times more receiving yards than he did rushing yards as a running back last year. They moved him over into the slot in that spread formation they ran with Cameron Kaufman.
But that's not a throw that Hodges wants to throw right there.
1st and 10 for Ray Peck. Couple of first downs on this drive. Hodges rolling out to his left. Sets, throws, has an open man. It's caught for a first down at the 39-yard line. Catch made by Jamal Williams. That's good for a 15-yard pickup. And Ray Peck for the first time tonight into Lee Summit West territory at the 39.
Yeah, they're starting to get a little bit of confidence. And when you look at the size of Jamal Williams, 6'5", 195 pounds. But you know what? Hodges getting a little bit of rhythm here, getting some confidence after the pass. And that's the one place that this defense was vulnerable last year, was against throwing football teams.
11.5 minutes to play, second quarter, 28-0 Lee Summit West. Ray Peck trying to get on the scoreboard for the first time tonight. They have it 1st and 10 at the 39 of Lee Summit West. Snap taken, but a false start. A little bit of movement there from the wing back lined up over on the left side. Ray Peck has had a hard time moving the football against this Lee Summit West defense, Jay. You don't want to shoot yourself in the foot and make yourself go an extra 5 yards.
No, you don't. And they're so good up front, that defensive line with Wiseman. And, of course, Ramirez back there at linebacker. Just a lateral player, sideline to sideline. Made big plays all year round as a sophomore and really stood up against a ranked football team in Webster Groves, a nationally ranked football team, and had a great state title game as just a sophomore. Big things for Nick Ramirez, including coming back next year.
Division I athlete already with offers from Nebraska, among others. And now a blitz shown by Lee Summit West. Hodges running for his life. Throws last second, incomplete. Pass deflected away by the safety, Brandon Miller. as it was intended over here on the near side for Brady James.
It's just such an aggressive defense with Lee Summit West. They're just challenging you to put the football up in the air and come out and make a big play with an interception, force the quarterback to make a mistake. I mean, make no mistake about it, extremely tough to run against Lee Summit West. And, they sacrifice a little bit in pass coverage with the way that they love to blitz, not only from the safety position, but also from the linebackers.
Now they're going to split Russell wide out to the right. This is essentially a 4 wide receiver formation. And Hodges throws over the middle, incomplete. Almost a great catch made by Guerrera, but really good defense provided by Lee Summit West in the secondary. Jack Richards, a backup safety, had checked in and made the play.
Yeah, not only that, but just the sophomore in Jack Richards. It continues with the theme of Lee Summit West of not afraid to use sophomore football players in a game. And Richards didn't have a good position. He was beaten. The play should have been made. He had to come around the outside. He made a good play to come back and knock the ball out of the receiver's hands.
They see a freshman on that Lee Summit West defense here tonight. Royce Bain was talking about him. We'll see if we see him on the field here as we go along. We'll talk about him then. So here's 3rd and 15 for Ray Peck after a couple of incompletions. And Hodges going to throw back shoulder fade, and it is caught. Great catch for a 17-yard gain and a first down. Jamal Williams hauled it in.
Yeah, Logan Cheadle, the defensive back there for Lee Summit West, was watching down the field, not watching Jamal Williams turn around for the football. That's simply a timing route. Like you said, the back shoulder fade. Quarterback puts the ball in the air. It's a timing pattern for the receiver to turn around, but that's what you do. And starting to move the football, the ball is thrown a little bit high. When you're throwing to a 6'5" receiver, it doesn't always matter. Update here, 7-0 Staley over Raytown. And Staley, of course, the number 2 ranked team in the state behind Lee Summit West. The Titans number 1. Those two met in the semifinals a year ago.
I reckon that'll be a pretty fun matchup. Flags before the play. And we're going to have a false start again on Ray Peck.
Hey,
again, digging themselves a little bit of a hole.
I'd like to give a shout-out to the fellows at Fort Bragg, hunkering down for Hurricane Irene. They've been listening to the show, Three Guys in a Garage. They're sitting at Fort Bragg tonight listening to it. Jason Smale and the crew, Missouri National Guard out there doing a little bit of training. So a big shout-out to the fellows at Fort Bragg sitting and listening to us online. Always appreciate what you guys do.
High school football game of the week brought to you by A&B Car Star. The next time your car needs a repair, take it to A&B Car Star with 5 convenient locations in St. Joseph, Smithville, Riverside, the Plaza, and Warnell. Call 816-741-6966 for A&B Car Star. 1st and 15 now for the Ray Peck Panthers. They send James in motion. Back to pass now. They'll throw to James in the backfield, overthrown. And that probably would have been a loss on the play, as stalking it was Boston Woodworth. It would have been a one-on-one tackle, but the way Lee Summit West is tackled tonight, didn't like Brady James' chances of getting away from Woodworth.
And
right
guess
there.
who was forcing the throw? Chris Wiseman, number 95. You will hear us say his name a lot tonight. He is forcing the throw. Hodges, a young quarterback, inexperienced quarterback, and Vosmeyer as well. You will see Lee Summit West try to tee off on these quarterbacks. Even if they're not getting to them, it's about rattling them and forcing them to throw some errant passes.
2nd and 15 now for Ray Peck. Man in motion, and now we've got a, looks like probably going to be offsides here against Wiseman, but it could be a false start on Gotze. But it's going to be Lee Summit West to move first. That's what it looked like from up here, and it will be now 2nd and 10 for Ray Peck after getting 5 yards back, earning back that false start penalty from earlier. And Jay, the one question mark on this Lee Summit West defense is the secondary. So far, Cheadle's looked good in one-on-one coverage, besides that last play where he got beaten on the back shoulder fade. But their secondary doesn't have to be great because their front 7 are so good at getting pressure on the quarterback.
You're right, and that was their downfall last year, as we talked about, with Corbin Bergstresser putting up so many yards against him. Of course, that was a Division I quarterback as well.
Back to pass goes Hodges. Boy, he is retreating. He got to get rid of it, and finally did in the general vicinity of Prelo, but incomplete. And it will be 3rd and 10 now for Ray Peck. Just the pressure comes every down from this defensive line that looks vastly improved from a very good defense a year ago.
Well, it was, and it looked good at the end of the year there in the state title game, and they were all over Webster Groves and forcing them to make all sorts of errors. But, Nick, I was excited about this football game just with the tradition that these two teams have been able to build through the years. You think about Ray-Pec, they went to 4 state championships in the 2000s, lost in 02, won in 04, 05, and 6. Then you have Royce Bain, winner in 2007, 2010. So 5 state titles between these two coaches.
James in motion. Hodges going to throw it up again on 3rd down, and again the back shoulder fade almost got him, but instead out of bounds is the ruling. No catch from Prelo. Cheadle got away with one. He was step for step with the receiver, but the receiver put the brakes on and had a chance at making the catch. Instead, it's going to be 4th and 10 now from the 27 of Lee Summit West. Obviously, the deepest penetration thus far by Ray-Pec as they trail at 28-0 with 10:23 to play in the first half.
Expect Royce Bain to do a little bit of coaching with that secondary as far as this back shoulder fade has been working against him. It's about staying kind of with your man, maybe in front of your man, and trying to force him to throw over.
4th and 10. Hodges rolling right. Backside pressure, gets crushed as he throws it. Pass broken up, incomplete. Boy, just play after play made by this defense. Jenkins with the breakup at the end of the play. And how about the pressure provided by Boyd, 58, a 6'4", 240-pound junior who's been in there just about every snap, even though he wasn't listed as one of the starters tonight.
This is why I think they can afford, Nick, to put the corners in front of the defensive, or in front of the wide receiver. They're getting such good pressure, forcing the quarterback to throw off his back foot. He's not going to get enough meat on the football to get it over.
So Lee Summit West takes over at their own 27. Still pitching a shutout, 28-0. 10 minutes to play, second quarter. And here's a counter toss to Strickland, running room. He's got a first down and more, bounces off a tackle. He's to the 45 and now across midfield and brought down at the 48-yard line. Tackle made by Christian Arnold way down the field, and that is a gain of 25 yards.
Yeah, Strickland using that big offensive line in front of him and following his hole. The thing I was most impressed with that play, 4 guys, that's right, 4 guys of Lee Summit West, wide receivers, all out in front making blocks. That is why the play was successful. Wide receivers staying with their men and blocking them.
Terrible.
So 1st and 10 from the 48-yard line into Ray-Pec territory. Snap taken. Not throwing deep. He's got a man. It's caught by Panko at the 15. He breaks a tackle and gets to the end zone. A touchdown. 48-yard strike from Luke Knott to Austin Panko, who's now got a punt return for a touchdown and 2 long receptions for touchdown.
Yeah, Luke Knott just so poised back in the pocket. They had a blitz on from the corner from Mason Knoll coming in to try to rattle Luke Knott. Luke Knott just stood in the pocket, realized the pressure was there, waited till Panko was open, stood in the pocket, delivered a nice football, had both feet planted, delivered a perfect strike to Panko, who had well beaten his man.
Extra point is up and good. We'll take a timeout with 9:39 to go. You're listening to the A&P Car Star and Aldi's High School Football Game of the Week on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 35-0. Lee Summit West all over the Ray-Pec Panthers here on the 2011 debut of the high school football game of the week. Kickoff is going to be fielded inside the 5, returned across the 15 to the 20, and Nick Guerrera brought it out to the 28-yard line. It'll be 1st and 10 for Ray-Pec. High school football here on Sports Radio 810, also brought to you by Aldi. Take the Aldi Food Market Challenge. Buy your groceries at Aldi Food Market and see how much you save. Aldi Food Market, honest to goodness savings.
Wow, when you talk about an explosion, Nick, I know a football game is quadratic, broken into 4 quarters, but come on, 35-0 in the first half. They did not expect to come out and have this kind of success against Ray-Pec. I know that they're defending state champions, and they know Ray-Pec, has lost some talent, but still to be up 35-0, I think even would have surprised Coach Royce Bain.
Well, Tom Cruise admitted as much before the game that Lee Summit West at this stage is the better football team. They were going to need them to make some mistakes. Thus far, they played perfect. Literally, aside from one maybe late hit penalty, giving Ray-Pec a free set of downs, it has been a picture-perfect effort from Lee Summit West. And now here's an almost interception. Vogelsmeyer lobbed a pass that was closer to being picked off by free safety Brandon Miller than it was anything else.
And there's been 3 or 4 balls that could have easily been picked off by Lee Summit West, but Ray-Pec, is forced in a situation here to become a one-dimensional football team, and that is throw the football. Lee Summit West can afford to sit back and just let them throw the football. The threat of the run is not going to be there for Ray-Pec.
2nd down and 10 for the Panthers. They knew they were going to need a running game this season without Cameron Kaufman. They could kind of work without it last year. Now here's a throw out into the flat. Goodman, the fullback, gets across the 30 to about the 35. Nice gain of 7 yards on the play. And it will be 3rd down and 3 at the 9-minute mark of the second quarter.
Well, that's one way when your running game's not working. Throw the football to the backside of the backfield. I don't know why so many teams in high school football have gone away from throwing to the running backs. It's just an extension of a running play. You're just throwing the ball out there, giving a little more lead time. But, it was a creative way there for Ray-Pec to try to move the football by getting the ball outside to one of your backs.
And now here's a long pass on 3rd down and 3, overthrown. Cheadle step for step with Prelo, and the pass incomplete. That'll be 4th and 3, and Ray-Pec going to have to punt again.
4th down to the Panthers.
Yeah, and at this point it's just one-on-one to the outside, not even any safety help over to the outside as Cheadle with his man stride for stride.
So far, Cheadle hasn't been beat on a deep ball. He's been beat by putting the brakes on a couple of times and waiting for the football, but Cheadle doesn't look like he's going to be easy to just outrun down the field.
No, and that's what they don't want, obviously. It looks like the game plan of Lee Summit West, just don't get beaten deep. But I'm thinking here, he can step back a little bit, try to get in front of the man with the pressure the defense is putting on. Quarterback not able to set and put a good throw.
Punt snap, one hopped back there, but it's going to be fielded and returned by Miller, who makes the first couple of guys miss and then gets tackled at the 39-yard line.
Returns it up to the 38-yard line, brought down on the play. Christian Arnold and Logan Smith on the tackle.
Tom Cruise went to high school here 25 years ago. Here he is coaching them and taking his team to a new level. Just all the changes that have happened at Ray-Pec since he's been here, Nick, and bringing this team to prominence.
Since we started covering them, they've grown from Class 4 to Class 6 now.
Yeah, they really have. And these 2 communities of Raymore-Peculiar come out here. This is a great game day atmosphere. One of the top ones in the city when you think about the fans. There is not a place to park near here. Every seat in the stands is full from this side. Lee Summit West side is full. People standing around the gate. This is late August. High school football is back in Kansas City. The Friday night lights return. But this whole facility, from the weight room and the locker room that they have here at Ray-Pec to the turf on the field to the brick facade by the ticket gate, it's just an outstanding facility for high school football. The scoreboard, it's got the graphics on it. It's a great scoreboard, but just the whole game day Friday night environment here is something special that he's built, and that's what going to 4 state title games will do. financing.
8:16 left to play in the second quarter. 35-0 Lee Summit West. High school football this year on Sports Radio 810. Also brought to you by the Kansas City Command, my employer. Season tickets for the 2012 Arena Football League season at Sprint Center are on sale now. Call 855-KC Arena. They're going to sponsor our top 25 poll. Go to a10varsity.com and see our latest rankings as the handoff goes up the middle and just a yard gained for Lee Summit West Judd Kern. This game also being streamed live on a10varsity.com, so that's a cool new feature. You can see some live video
score update
of the...
Yeah, you can go around the city, just click your mouse, and you can pick a different 810 varsity game that you want to watch. And Chad Rader's got it all set up there with the graphics, and you can pop in and look at different games around the city as you listen to the 810 Game of the Week from A&B CarStar.
Very cool feature. Now 2nd and 9 from the 40. Not under center. He's going to hand it off again. Marcus Strickland gets the carry, and he gets stacked up after a gain of 2. It'll be 3rd down and 7, and this is the first time Lee Summit West has been in this position all night long where they needed a long 3rd down conversion. And the one question mark on the offensive side of the ball for Lee Summit West has really been the running back position. They've got some new guys there. Strickland, the leading returning rusher, 542 yards last year, but they lost Darnay Session, 1,000-yard rusher. But so far, Strickland has looked very good running the football. Now here's an empty backfield.
With that big offensive line.
Empty backfield, 5 wide receiver set on 3rd and 7. Just under 7 minutes to play first half. Not in shotgun formation. He'll set, throws short, and it's complete but short of a first down. About a 4-yard gain to the 47. That's going to be 4th and 2 now for Lee Summit West. They'll bring the punt unit on just short of midfield.
They had to wonder if they were going to earn a letter this year.
Yeah. Now, the punter's not going to get a lot of work, it doesn't appear.
4th and 2.
Boy, Nod is really a guy that's grown into this role as the quarterback. At first they eased him into the role, didn't have him do too much, but then that playoff run, they really relied on him. In the state championship game, he threw for 300-plus yards.
Yeah, I mean, he really turned it on. You thought that game against Corbin Bergstresser. Here, Bergstresser was a Division I quarterback, but yet Luke Knott started to emerge himself and turn himself into a Division I quarterback.
Going to Iowa State next fall to play college football. Aaron Russell mishandled the kick and finally was able to pick it back up, secure it, but immediately tackled back at the 14. Bad starting field position for Ray Peck. Let's get a quick studio update from Chad Rader back in the 810 High School Central. Chad?
14-yard line.
Yes, a quick
Panthers at the 14.
Update from the big game of the night. Jordan Walker has broke off a 60-yard touchdown scamper and has racked up 190 yards and 2 TDs in the first half to give 7 lead 10 over. Back to you.
Jordan Walker, he's a special player, Nick, and they're breaking in a new quarterback at Rockhurst with Nick Jones, and one thing Coach Severino said before the game was, how's he going to handle the pressure? No better pressure situation for a first starting quarterback than at Blue Springs on the road.
Jordan Walker, one of those guys we've heard a lot about, but didn't know exactly how he was going to perform under the Friday Night Lights, but it looks like he is stepping into his new role with fervor, you would say, as Ray Peck runs for a yard. It'll be 2nd and 9.
Hey, there's some statement games out here for both Lee Summit West and Rockhurst, defending state champions. Can they do it again? Can they keep the consistency up? Because, again, how difficult is it to repeat? Coach Bain talks about learning from mistakes. They won the 07 state title, talked about mistakes he made in coaching in 2008. It's difficult to repeat, but you got to keep things in sync and together.
Nearing the 5-minute mark of the first half, and now a throw down the field is going to be caught just in bounds for a first down at the 33.
Boy, go to the well every time. That little back shoulder fade.
Same kind of pass, this time completed to Prelow. Again, working against Cheadle.
And also, when you talk about consistency with Ray Peck, Nick, Coach Cruz has had the same coaching staff for 12 years.
I was stunned when I heard that.
When guys move around, they find new jobs, one of their coaching buddies gets a job somewhere, they leave. But to have your same football staff for 12 years, that's how you become a consistent football team as well.
Amazing nobody's wanted to hire any of these guys for all the success they've had.
Just pick off the tree.
Yeah, just if nothing else, guys move on to be head coaches themselves. Now here's a throw on a slant to Walker Evans, and Hodges, the quarterback in there, got crushed, and then Evans, the receiver, got crushed. And it will be 2nd down and 10 from the 33. Second down and 10 now. Hodges in there at quarterback. He and Vogelsmeyer have switched series. Hodges lost it down the field, but incomplete. Looking that time for Stephen Brown.
Stephen Brown.
Just trying to make something happen here. And again, Lee Summit West fully expecting a pass. Because that's what they've had to resort to, down 35-0.
Jefferson City Helias leading Harrisonville 10-0 in the second quarter. Get you updated on some scores here. Chad Rader coming up at halftime. Clock not running right now. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. Here in the second half, if the score holds up the same, it's going to be a running clock all the time. Now it's not even running when it's supposed to. Now they finally get it going as Goodman catches a pass out of the backfield. But he did not have any running room and, in fact, lost 4 yards. Travis Goodman rotating in there at fullback.
Yeah, a great stop there by Jack Richards once again coming up from that defensive back position. Yeah, he gave up a little bit of yardage, gave up the pass, but it was quickly there to bring down the receiver. Just that intense defensive philosophy the Titans have brought tonight.
And it's 4th down just like that. 4.5 minutes to play here in the first half. 35-0. Lee Summit West all over Ray Peck. Snap is bobbled, and now had a chance to pick it up and punt it away. No chance for return now for Lee Summit West. That punt took forever, and Ray Peck will down it at the 35-yard line. Let's pause for station identification.
First and 10 Titans.
4:05 to play here in the first half. 35-0. Lee Summit West with a convincing lead, and they've got the football at their own 35-yard line to start this drive.
Lee Summit West, the #1 team in the state, according to sports writers across the state of Missouri. Staley #2, they are leading their game 17-0 over Raytown.
Here's Knott in shotgun formation. 2 wide receivers to his right, 1 to his left. Takes the snap, has all day to throw. Lofts it down the field for Shaq Harrison, who made the catch for a big gain all the way inside the 40 to the 38-yard line. And already Lee Summit West going back to the air, a 27-yard gain.
Yeah, just another receiver over 6 foot tall. You have Panko at 6'3", Shaq Harrison at 6 foot tall. And, the foot not off the gas for Lee Summit West as they're continuing to throw the football here in the first half, up 35-0.
Football spotted at the 37. Call it a 28-yard gain officially on that last throw. Knott will keep it himself. Takes the shotgun snap, just runs it right up the middle, and picked up a couple to the 35. Some other scores from around the Metro. And tell you, a game I'm interested in, Jay, is as a flag comes in, a little bit of pushing and shoving after the play. Not sure who that's going to be on. Park Hill South leading Belton 7-0. First game in the new era of Belton football with Mark Thomas, the former coach at Kearney, who won back-to-back state championships with the Bulldogs.
And he had won a state title as well before at Boonville. So he'd won a state title at Boonville, won 2 of them over at Kearney. And I'm telling you, this guy had 35 players when he was at Kearney. These guys went both ways, had some great Division I talent, and Tommy Saunders and Brock Christopher, guys that went on to star at the University of Missouri. But Mark Thomas back in the game now at Belton.
Penalty once it went against Ray Peck, so they'll tack on 15 yards. And that moves Lee Summit West down to the 19 after a 3-yard run for Luke Knott, and it's 1st and 10. 3 yards for Knott, and then 15 more for the unsportsmanlike. 1st and 10 at the 19 with 3 minutes to play first half. Knott hands off to Strickland. Cutting back and forth inside the 10 to the 5. What a move at the 10. He got to the end zone for a touchdown. What a run by Marcus Strickland.
Yeah, and again, it's following lead blockers up front when you have Evan Bain, the #1 guard in the country, according to ESPN.com, even though he plays tackle here at Lee Summit West. When you have that kind of leadership, that kind of size up front, it's a running back's dream. Convoy to the end zone.
I think you went out with over there is repair. What do you think? Oh wow. So where are you now, like the
Kick is up and good.
Kick is up and good with 2:53 to go in the first half. How about Lee Summit West making a statement here on the road against a Class 6 foe and beating up on Ray Peck 42-0. We'll take a timeout on the Sports Radio 810 High School Football Game of the Week. Very much, Chad. Apologize for the little bit of technical difficulties here tonight. We've had to rely on our wireless connection, and when everyone is trying to use their wireless phone at the same time out here at the stadium, sometimes that can be a little dicier than at other locations.
I need to just make an announcement. Attention, people, do not use your cell phones.
Yeah, that would really help us out. But we had a little technical difficulty here, so we're kind of on the backup, and it's not working quite as well as we would hope. Understand the signal's a little bit choppy, so we apologize for that. You missed a big Lee Summit West touchdown. Marcus Strickland, a 19-yard touchdown run, and it's 42-0 Lee Summit West. And what a shifty little run it was, as Strickland is doing a great job of making guys miss. Now Ray Peck has it, and after an Aaron Russell run of no gain, there is Ray Peck facing 1st and 10 at the 20.
Was there a rule change about the clock that I missed at the
I don't know. Clock not running again. Now it's running. That was after a run, and here is a pass completed to Goodman to the 25-yard line. Clock now continuing to roll. This first half has actually seemed pretty long, partially because there's been a lot of scoring, but maybe because the clock has stopped some. I'm not sure. 25-yard line for Ray Peck now. They face 3rd and 5.
Well, we did the game day tonight. It's a new venture with Metro Sports and Sports Radio 810. It went well, man. Good fan support about it. And every week, the Metro Sports and Sports Radio 810 be out there live at a football game, creating kind of a college game day atmosphere.
Olathe East, Olathe North next week. Is that correct?
Yes, that's right.
Here's a check down throw from Vogelsmeyer, and that's going to be a first down as he threw it out in the flat. And it was taken across the 30 to the 31-yard line.
Good football games around the Metro next week as well. I mean, there's some good ones tonight. You know, I'm really interested in that Rockhurst Blue Springs game. Of course, when you're talking about Class 5 matching up against Class 6 tonight, Raytown South on the road against Blue Springs South. So we have 3 matchups in the city. So 3 matchups tonight in the city from teams in the 810 Top 25 powered by the Command.
First and 10 from the 31-yard line for Ray Peck. Under 2 minutes to play. Off his back foot, Hodges makes the pass and completes it to Preload to the 35-yard line, and now we've got a flag down as well. It's Vogelsmeyer actually in at quarterback. Last pass for the first down was completed to Brady James. It was a three-way race at quarterback going into training camp, which is the first time they haven't known who the guy was going to be, let alone have a three-guy race since Tom Cruise has been here for 12 seasons.
And it's tough, Nick. It's tough to enter a season when you can't really identify who that starter is going to be, get that familiarity with the offense, and really develop that one guy who's going to be that team leader for the football team. I mean, you look, every year when I look at football teams, when we do our class rankings and team rankings, I look at who's bringing their quarterback back. No doubt. That is so important for a high school. I talked about Rockhurst. They want to repeat. They're starting a new quarterback. Alex Brown, the starter from Blue Springs, had actually fractured his ring finger on his throwing hand before training camp began. So he's playing a little bit tonight. They're going to use two quarterbacks tonight out of Blue Springs.
Penalty against Ray Peck, and now Vogelsmeyer just dropped the football as he was getting pressure, started to scramble up the middle and just literally squeezed the football too hard. It squirted out, and they were lucky that Brady James covered it up at the 16-yard line. And now it's going to be second down, and they need all the way out to the 41-yard line. So it's 25 yards to go. Loss of one on that play. 1 minute to go. Lee Summit West obviously going to be content to not call timeout here, so Ray Peck will have an opportunity to just run the clock out here, most likely. Here's Vogelsmeyer throwing incomplete. That will stop the clock.
Oh, and that was a dangerous play right there by Skylar Sims. What he did was, once he caught it, he had missed it, but he had rethrown the ball back in the air. Lee Summit West not able to capitalize. Could have been another really bad play for Ray Peck.
48 seconds to go. 42-0 Lee Summit West. Get an update here in just a moment from Rockhurst Blue Springs after this play. 48 seconds left in the half. Third and 25, pass incomplete. Preload the intended receiver, and he got
lit up.
Got lit up by Jack Richards. 44 seconds to go. Let's check in with Chad back in the studio with an update on Rockhurst Blue Springs.
Fourth down for the Panthers.
5:20 mark. Kyle Brown hit Jordan Bardwell. The touchdown strike. Tied the score up 14-14 at Blue Springs.
So it sounds like Kyle Brown indeed did play despite that ring finger injury.
He was going to play, but they were going to use two quarterbacks with Wilson Lamb as well.
Here is the punt. And it's going to be fielded by Lee Summit West at the 48-yard line.
Because you know what Kelly Donahoe does when he has a returning starter, and that was the big concern when the Jamboree was Wilson Lamb. Here's a guy that can run the ball as well. He's a junior, and Kelly likes both of those guys back at quarterback. The Blue Springs makes a young football team, just one senior on the defensive line, two returning starters. That's it they have on defense, and of course the spectacular DeAndre Hall plays offense and defense for Blue Springs. But he was going to use both these quarterbacks tonight. Thought we might see Brown run the football more. He's a dual threat quarterback, but it looks like he's in there throwing the ball as well.
Lee Summit West going to be content to head into halftime. Luke Knott taking a knee. And the Titans aren't going to try and pour it on anymore here in the first half.
Of course,
you don't see victory formation in the first half very often.
I was going to say Luke Knott. Of course, Jake Knott. He was the leader last year in the Big 12 in tackles. He's currently at Iowa State, so Luke going to join Jake.
So that'll be the last play of the first half. The teams will retire to the locker rooms. Ray Peck, obviously the body language not as good as it is for the folks in the white uniforms. Lee Summit West, a completely dominating first half of play, leading 42-0, pitching a shutout. They've looked terrific on defense, and they have had their way on offense.
Yeah, they have. And like I said when they first sat down, Nick, The offense is usually slower, man. You got to get the timing, and it's usually what we see as defense at the beginning of the football year. Of course, there's no preseason football. You think about the NFL, they have 4 preseason games. High school football, you got to strap it up and be ready week 1.
Chad Rader will have complete scoring updates from around the metro area coming up at halftime, as well as check in with our reporters stationed around the city, our Preps KC reporters, and they'll get you caught up on all of the action from the Kansas City metro area. 42-0 our score at halftime. Lee Summit West, an impressive opener to their 2011 season in defense of their 2010 Class 5 state championship. They're off to a good start, dominating first half over Ray-Pec. It's been a first half with another half to go on the A&B CarStar High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Aldi Food Market. Yeah.
Soft is back.
No, I didn't like that, though. I didn't get a chance to tell Royce I was unhappy with that. But, no, I certainly wish Evan a lot of the best. And credit to Gary Pinkel, who's done a great job. 42-0 our score here. Lee Summit West all over Ray-Pec at the half. And we've got the second half kickoff going deep into the end zone. No chance for return for Ray-Pec. So they'll take over at the 20. You mentioned the Kaufman brothers. Cameron, the latest in that line, and he had kind of a weird recruiting situation. He had, I believe, at 1.9 BCS level offers from Division I schools. Ended up trying to wait for the right offer and the right fit, and steadily those offers got pulled just because those other teams didn't wait around. They found their quarterback, and so they had their scholarship allotment towards the quarterbacks all filled up as the Aaron Russell gets a running carry on the first play of the second half for Ray-Pec, picks up a couple of yards to the 22-yard line. It'll be 2nd and 8. And so Cameron just got caught up in this new cycle of players committing earlier and earlier. Even if you're a really good player, you really kind of have to make a decision this summer before your senior year.
There was also a few situations where some schools were waiting, hey, we'll come after you if we can't get this guy or that guy.
Right.
So some of the situations happened where they ended up getting their guy and didn't go. But, it's a tough gig for these guys to find the right school. But, yeah, if he had some chances, you got to take them when you get them.
Pass incomplete to Walker Evans. I thought he was going to end up at Arizona State, and they offered him for a long time. But he waited till signing day. I believe he was kind of waiting for an offer from Alabama that just never materialized.
I think that was the school.
And, of course, heck, I might have waited a while to try and see if Alabama offered too. I mean, that would be big stuff down there. But it didn't happen. So the good thing for him is that he's gone to Arizona. He's at a junior college down there, going to play football this fall in a junior college, and would have the option to have 3 years of eligibility to BCS level school if he has a good season down there in Arizona here in his freshman season at JUCO. Back to pass, and big trouble for Vogelsmeyer. He just unloaded it, did not get it back to the line of scrimmage. There was nobody in the area, and now there's going to be a late flag for intentional grounding. The officials conferred, looked at one another, and decided that indeed it was intentional grounding. That's going to be a loss of down, and Ray-Pec's going to have to punt it away. Well, now it shouldn't, I don't believe, for penalties.
No, they stopped it before the penalty was even thrown.
Oh, well, that's not...
You have to look, we're only a minute and a half into the quarter.
It is a loss of down. And so the football will be moved back to the 5 and give Lee Summit West credit for a sack right there.
Back up to the 5-yard line. Also, loss of down.
So Ray-Pec backing up 15 yards on that particular series, and we'll have to punt it away from the shadows of their own goalposts.
Royce Boehm had the decision. A lot of parents, a lot of players asked him this year, come up with a motto. And he chose stay the course as the motto. Yes, a cliched saying, but evidently they've taken it to heart and they're really staying the course from where they were a season ago.
Little bobble from Miller, and now he gets loose down the left sideline. He gets all the way to the 20. Got a 22-yard return after a 37-yard punt. Pretty good return there from the free safety Brandon Miller. And the return game has just been, Lee Summit West has been nearly perfect in all 3 phases. Their special teams, they've got a punt return for a touchdown. They've averaged probably 15 or 20 yards per return. They're perfect on extra points. They've had kickoffs go into the end zone 4 out of 6 times maybe. So this has been an impressive performance.
And that was a bobbled play from the returner, and it still worked for Lee Summit West.
Here's a toss play on first down, and it's going to be a touchdown. cutting back and now getting to the end zone for the score. A backup running back, Ryan Williams,
There's your freshman.
A player that Royce Boehm is high on. They've got two freshmen, one on the defensive side, and then Ryan Williams, a guy he likes on the offensive side of the ball as a freshman. And he gets his first varsity rushing touchdown right there, a nifty little cutback. I can see why Coach Boehm liked him. That was a very nifty little play. They also had a backup quarterback in there, Connor Hartnett, a senior, going to start the second half. Luke Knott's night is already done. And the extra point is good, but a flag came down. A little trouble with the hold. That was actually kind of a miracle he made that, because Hartnett got the hold down literally a split second before the kick went through from Clements. He made the extra point, but it's a false start on the offense, so they'll have to do it again from 5 yards farther back. 48-0 now. Ray Peck trailing at home to Lee Summit West.
Are you ready to go to St. Louis?
9:47 to play here in the third quarter.
Tomorrow or no? I got it. It's like
Clements perfect on extra points thus far, and he nails that one. Clements was a perfect 6 of 6 on field goals, including a 44-yarder last year. So he is a tremendous weapon, just another facet for this Lee Summit West team in a positive manner for the Titans as they look towards a repeat state championship here in 2011. We'll take a timeout. You're listening to the A&B CarStar High School Football Game of the Week presented by Aldi Food Market.
Go get it from Mrs. Stricker down there at about the 55 Page 21.
The clock has not moved. It has stopped after every play.
I know, it's bad.
What was I going to say? Oh, Jay, Danny wanted me to tell you if you want to come in at noon tomorrow, that's fine. Or if you want to be here at 11, doesn't matter.
The winning ticket is 232.
Here you turn your mic on.
What time does the show start tomorrow? Jed?
Starts at 11, but Danny has to leave at noon to go get his daughter.
So like a tag team deal?
Yeah, he'll do half, you'll do half, or you can come at 11.
Hopefully we'll have some sound.
Well, we shouldn't. So, coming back in 20 seconds.
Those teams, very fine players. Great big games, but win. And the biggest sporting events in America.
That results in another touchdown, first and 10 at the 20.
The Packers have won Super. It's all on the one and only Sports Radio 810 WHB.
Now miscommunication on the kick return. That one was returnable, but bounded into the end zone, and it will be a touchback again. As no Ray Peck return man went and got it. 9:47 to play here in the third quarter. Ray Peck trailing 49-0. It's Vogelsmeyer out to run the offense. And a false start on Ray Peck. The right wing running back did not hear the snap count and jumped early. That's Jalen Simmons. And Simmons will get to trot to the sideline.
You almost
just a
wonder if they have
sophomore.
a clock malfunction. You haven't seen the clock move at all. It's been sitting at 9:47, although the scoreboard seems to be working right. And the graphics
we haven't really had
right.
a play. We haven't. The extra point was after a penalty. Then the
on the kick
return. Well, the kick return, it didn't. Nobody ever touched it. Now here is Vogelsmeyer completing a pass underneath to Aaron Russell. That's going to be an 8-yard gain to the 23, but immediately tackled. And it's kind of an interesting, you see a lot of backups in on the offensive side for Lee Summit West. They want to preserve a shutout, though. I mean, there's something to that, so they don't want to allow Ray Peck to score, so it'll be interesting to watch how much substituting in mass there is. It looks like there are a lot of different players on the field.
Weisman's not in there. A lot of the starters not in there, but this is good because you're getting backups and playing experience. And you look at football teams to blow a lot of teams out the next year, they come back strong because you got so many guys game experience.
Snap goes to Vogelsmeyer. He's back to pass and throws incomplete. looking underneath for Walker Evans. And, you know, some of these backups for a team like Lee Summit West get pretty doggone good in practice just because they're competing against really elite players just every time they scrimmage.
Yeah.
You got to get better. You're not going to hold your own.
They have Birdsong Warren in there at right defensive end, listed at 6'1", 155. You will not see many defensive ends at 155 pounds.
That seems like a miss. Well, I don't know. Is that 84? He does look pretty thin. 3rd down and 7. Vogelsmeyer under pressure, has to roll to his right, throws, and the pass is nearly caught by Walker Evans.
And what a hit by Thomas Ganadin. Wow, that was Jack Richards, excuse me, coming in and leveling the hit. And the receiver caught the ball, and Jack Richards just lit him up. The receiver defenseless because you can't see him, but Jack Richards did what you do, and you come in and lay a hit. But the
clean hit just to put his shoulder into him, but Evans' momentum was going completely the other way. Richards was prepared for the hit. Walker Evans was not.
Yeah, he was defenseless. He didn't see him coming. You're right. Absolutely clean hit.
But it separated the football from Evans, who had a chance to make a catch right there. The ball was on the money.
Let's hope he's okay. Jack Richards, though, was in the right place, made a clean hit using his shoulder pad instead of leading with his head, which is what you're supposed to do. It's just that Evans, just couldn't see him.
Well, there's no doubt that would hurt. Now, hopefully, Evans just had the wind knocked out of him, not injured, more just hurt.
He's moving around. He's getting up.
Yeah, I think he's okay. No doubt, though, that would ring your bell. That's a tough one. Do want to say that our thoughts, concerns, and prayers go out to all those folks on the East Coast who are going to be affected by Hurricane Irene starting tonight in North Carolina. And sounds like it could be a bad situation up in the Northeast.
Do you remember I was giving the shout out to Fort Bragg?
Yeah,
Those
yeah,
guys
you
are
did.
Right
you
there
mentioned
a lot of that
Hurricane Irene there, yeah.
And their power went out. So about 45 minutes ago, I got a last text saying that their power had gone on. They were listening to the show or the game online.
So Walker Evans is going to come out of the game, but he's walking off under his own power and appears to be staring fairly intently at the ground, perhaps trying to locate where on earth he is.
We had a situation like that in high school, Nick. It was on a 2nd down play, and our linebacker got his bell rung. And we looked at him in the huddle. And we're at St. Joe Central, and he comes up, and he says, "Where are we? We're out of timeouts. We didn't know what to do." So we just set him in position and just said, "Stand there," until we could get him substituted. So when you watch the game film, there he is just standing there with the whole play. Never moved, just still standing there.
And here is the punt after an unsuccessful 3rd down play. And it's going to roll all the way down to the 20-yard line. And, of course, not making light of this situation at all, because if he have no idea if he suffered a concussion or if he just kind of had the wind knocked out of him. But obviously that's all taken extremely seriously now.
Sure.
And even more so in the Kansas City area after the tragic death of Nathan Stiles from Spring Hill High School last year.
It's a lot different than it used to be. When I was playing, they first brought in the air helmets, and now they've even gotten better than that with some of the technology. But you can't mess around with it. Once someone's had a concussion, you pull them out of the game.
Most of
he
these,
doesn't play. And you wait. You may even wait another game before you put him back in there because you don't want to have the symptoms come back.
Most of these schools are doing pre-season concussion tests to get a baseline, as it's a running play for Lee Summit West that's going to gain maybe 2 or 3 yards with Williams again, who broke it off for a 20-yard touchdown on his last carry. But certainly lots of coaches were willing to listen after the tragic loss of Stiles last year, trying to figure out whatever way they can prevent another tragedy like that from happening to their team.
But not just high school. It's some college and especially
Major League Baseball had Brian Pena, who took a long time to come back because, or rather, I think that was trainer, toss play, and that's going to be a run from Eric Carter. Carter, a senior, getting a little bit of playing time here late, and he picked up a nice 5 yards there.
It's getting chippy out there right now. Lee Summit West backup lineman Shannon Van Ross, all 6'5", 260 of him, out there in the secondary, just laying a pancake down on the safety, and then a few words for him as they got up. These teams don't really like each other too much.
This was a great rivalry that Lee Summit West couldn't get over the hump for a while. They were beating a lot of people and couldn't get by Ray Peck, and now the last couple of years it's been Lee Summit West that's moved past Ray Peck.
21-13 last year. The game was at Lee Summit West.
Here's a little toss counter, and again, running room for Carter. Nifty little running, and he's going to have a first down. And I'll tell you what, he did a lot of that on his own. A 7-yard run right there, reversed field, and went way into the backfield, was able to turn the corner and get a 7-yard gain and move the chains with 5:20 to play here in the third quarter.
Eric Carter, a senior, 5'7", 155 pounds, getting a little bit of playing time here in a relief effort. But this is good for Lee Summit West to be able to get some guys that are non-starters in and get them some playing time. Makes your team that much deeper.
I think Lee Summit West is going to turbo clock some folks this year. There's no doubt about it. And they've made a statement here in game one. Shotgun snap to Hartnett. He's going to keep the football and gets across the 40 to the 41-yard line. Hartnett on the season last year completed just one pass, but it was a 55-yard touchdown throw, so a good passer rating for Connor Hartnett last year, and had 8 attempts for -1 yards.
Speaking of those Kearney teams that we were earlier, how Coach Thomas, his second state title game, Nick, that Kearney team, I still remember that team. I can't remember, was it 03 or 02, but they had a running clock on every team that year, including at Webb City and including the state championship game.
They still have T-shirts attesting to that particular fact, that they turbo clocked every team that season, and they were proud to own that. Another running play is going to get close to first down yardage, but it looks to be about a foot short, so it'll be third and very short, just short of the 45-yard line.
Tommy Saunders was on that team, Brock Christopher, and of course, you'll do it during the regular season, but the most impressive thing was going through the playoffs, and especially against a team like Webb City, and then parlaying that into the state title game. The first series of the third quarter, they had a running clock.
Hartnett barking out signals on third and short. I formation behind him. He's under center. Toss play and running room just enough for first down yardage. That time it was
the ball carrier. Logan Smith on the tackle. Going to be a first down.
Tom Cruise is going to have a job ahead of him, and that's next week, just putting this game, out of sight, out of mind, chalking it up. I mean, just look down the road at Blue Springs High School. Last year, Blue Springs loses its first 2 games of the year. Goes on a 9-game winning streak, including just a 1-point loss to Rockhurst. It was the first game of the year. And they only lost to Rockhurst by 7-0 score in the playoffs. So Blue Springs lost their first 2 and were able to put it behind them.
Didn't lose 49-0.
Jordan Walker scored again from Rockhurst.
Now here's a handoff. And it's going to be a loss for Ryan Williams.
Good play there by Brad Jewell from that defensive line. Big kid, 262, 235, getting into the backfield and making a tackle for a loss.
Rockhurst just got another touchdown run from Jordan Walker. I believe they said 8.5 minutes to go in the third quarter, 21-14 Rockhurst.
Put him on the Simone watch list.
Yeah, he is.
Kyle Zimmerman, the quarterback out of Blue Valley, got to throw him on that list as well.
Evan Boehm was kind of one of our semifinalists last year. Luke Knott. Fumble on the play. Handoff goes to Lee Summit West in the backfield, and the ball was never secured. Looks like the Titans recovered it at the 41. But Luke Knott may give his offensive lineman a little bit of a challenge for getting on that Simone watch
Evan
list.
Bain be the first lineman, to win the...
He could be, but I think his quarterback's numbers are going to be so good. It's...
Well, the funny thing was, Evan Bain was the Conference Player of the Year last year for Lee Summit West as a lineman.
That's incredible.
To have an offensive lineman as your Conference Player of the Year. A one-way lineman. He didn't even play defense.
And a handoff on third and long. Third at about 15, and it's maybe a 2-yard gain, so it'll be a punting situation for Lee Summit West with 1:20 to go.
And we haven't seen Mambo. The special play Royce Bain was talking about, this overloaded play.
Well, we're not going to see it now.
Not going to see Mambo tonight.
I think we can safely assume that.
Because Evan actually had one carry last year for 25 yards. Didn't it come off a fumble? And he picked the ball up and rumbled for 25?
I don't know. I saw the stat, but I don't know how he attained it.
That's why I asked Royce, give your kid the ball. 300 pounds, 1 yard line, come on.
Get him a touchdown or two, huh?
Why not?
Help pad those Simone stats, maybe. Here's a kick from Stanky, who has not had a lot of work tonight. A couple of guys missed. Aaron Russell on the return. And he gets it out to the 31. And I beg your pardon, that was Simmons on the return. Both teams using a lot of different guys at this point. Jalen Simmons, a sophomore. Fort Osage and Lee Summit North, an interesting matchup. Lee Summit North made strides under Ty Cole a year ago. We did a great game between them and Ray Peck for a playoff spot last year. Lee Summit North came up just short. I believe it was 27-24 that final. Here's Vogelsmeyer in at quarterback, throwing underneath. And that's completed for about a 4-yard gain. Aaron Russell made the catch. And that will be the end of the third quarter.
Still 0-0 starting.
And Park Hill and Liberty in a defensive struggle. No score at the end of 3. So they're getting ready to start a fourth quarter of play.
Park Hill always a solid defensive team with Coach Tom Reynolds, the defensive coordinator.
49-0 our score here. Lee Summit West in control as we go to the fourth quarter on Sports Radio 810's High School Football Game of the Week, brought to you by A&B Car Star and Aldi Food Market.
Hey, it's Tim Grubb.
It was a really entertaining football game.
Is there any stringer
One of the
reports?
best.
Going to the lake with my
Yeah, dude, we'll take any stringer report ever.
Such an easy program. I can go watch my
Throw Spano on the air, whatever.
Okay, do you want me to just start putting them on hold now?
Yeah, if they call. And their game's good. Yeah, we'd love to hear from them.
Really, the only person who's called is Matt Pepper and Ryan Spano.
Yeah, I'll throw Spano
Definitely, if Pepper gets a score, we'll put him on. If he calls you with a score. And same for Spano. We'll take any score if his game's good, since his game's good.
Okay.
Supplements. Listen to the nose. No surgery or exercise, no groups, no hunger, and guaranteed results. For a free consultation, call Slim for Life at 816-730-SLIM. That's 816-730-7546. Or check them out on the website, Slim.
10 seconds.
And tell them that Grunny sent you.
Of high school football on Sports Radio 810 WHB. 5 convenient locations in St. Joe, Smithville, Riverside, Plaza, and Warnell. The A&B Car Star call at 816-741-6966.
Back to action, start of the fourth quarter. Now 3rd and 6 for Ray Peck from their own 35-yard line. Incompletion on the last play is, I'm honestly not sure. Monty Harrison or Chris Johnson, they both wear number 5.
How about that score? Hazelwood Central, of course, a couple state title appearances. They went on a 3-year run, down 28-0 over DeSmet from the St. Louis side.
3rd and 6. Vogelsmeyer back to pass. Steps up in the pocket. Fakes the throw. Now is going to run for it, and he's got a first down. He crosses midfield. Steps out of bounds at the 47. So Ray Peck moves the chains as the clock moves under 11 minutes to play. 49-0 Lee Summit West in control of this game. Rockhurst leading Blue Springs 21-14. I was shocked Blue Springs not in the Kansas City Stars preseason top 10. I don't care that they've got 2 returning starters on defense, and I told you this earlier this week. When Kelly Donahoe has a returning starter at quarterback, they're never terrible.
No, they're not at all. And with the amount of kids to go out for football in Blue Springs, it's a very proud football program.
Rebuild the defense.
They do. And last year, you're talking about a team that lost its first 2, won 9 in a row to really get in a good rhythm. And they'll face a test against Staley as well.
Incompletion on first down there for Ray Peck. Vogelsmeyer was hit as he threw it. Fell incomplete. 2nd and 10 from the 47 of Lee Summit West. I believe this is the second drive that made it into Lee Summit West territory all night for Ray Peck. As, again, offense, defense, and special teams, this has been a clinic for the Lee Summit West Titans. Vogelsmeyer takes the snap, rolling to his left, sets, throws underneath, and pass not held onto. It's incomplete. Probably should have been a completion right there, as he was trying to find Jamal Williams, who's made a couple of catches tonight. It'll be 3rd and 10 now. You're listening to the A&B CarStar High School Football Game of the Week, presented by Aldi Food Market, here on Sports Radio 810 WHB Kansas City. Glad you could join us here for the 2011 debut of the Game of the Week. Jay Binkley.
Thank you, sir.
And my name is Nick McKay. We'll be with you all season long. Looks like we're going to add a sideline reporter in a week or two that I think will be a fun little announcement. We'll have to confirm that. Hopefully share that with you next week.
Aaron Andrews?
Not Aaron Andrews. Not nearly that pretty. Pass on 3rd and 10. Complete to Aaron Russell, who makes a leaping catch inside the 30-yard line to the 28. That's a 19-yard pickup and a first down for the Ray-Peck Panthers. 8:40 to play here in the 4th quarter. Friday Night Live, the high school scoreboard show coming your way next. Jay and I from out here at Ray-Peck, as well as Chad Rader back in studio. We'll be a little abbreviated tonight with Chiefs postgame coming up immediately after the conclusion of the Chiefs game. Vogelsmeyer on 1st and 10, under some pressure, got away from it, lofts it towards the end zone, and it is caught there in the far corner for a touchdown.
Yeah, what a great pass there. Get some confidence in your team there. Nice play to the outside and a great reaching grab there by Aaron Russell.
28-yard strike from Vogelsmeyer to Aaron Russell, who made a nice sliding catch just inside the pylon on the far side.
He knew exactly where he was on the football field and knew exactly where that inline was, or the sideline, and made a great grab, catching the football, looked up to make sure the official, 2 hands in the air, touchdown Ray-Peck.
So the shutout is over. Ray-Peck gets on the scoreboard, and their extra point is off to the left, no good. We'll take a timeout with 8:14 to play here in the 4th quarter. 49-7, Lee Summit West all over Ray-Peck on the high school football game of the week from A&B CarStar and Aldi Food Market.
49-6.
And as a big Chiefs and Royals fan, I love to go to Kansas Sampler to check out the newest clothes and find great. Big Mizzou fan, I've always said what we really need is a Missouri sampler.
You guys are going to have a long post-game. Chiefs game is 10. There's still 10 minutes left in the 3rd quarter.
OU, Iowa, and Iowa State, and even some Arkansas stuff.
Great.
But we know Kansas Sampler is the biggest and best Jayhawks and Wildcat store in Kansas. Well, folks, I got my wish.
Yep. Pretty exciting stuff.
Not or Columbia this season.
Burpee coming back. Are we okay?
Across from Independent Center. Now I know, no matter what
yeah, I can hear you now, but yeah,
and Rally be a team
10
shopper at Kansas Sampler and Rally House.
Sports Talk powered by Fan.
Here we go.
810 WHB Kansas City, the power of sports.
Ray-Peck kicking off for the first time since the beginning of the game. Fielded inside the 5, returned out to the 20, 25, and down at the 27-yard line. High school football on Sports Radio 810, brought to you by CarStar. Next time your car needs a repair, take it to A&B CarStar with 5 convenient locations in St. Joseph, Smithville, Riverside, the Plaza, and Warnell. Call 816-741-6966 for A&B CarStar.
And I've been to almost them all, Nick. The only one we haven't been to is Warnell. Of course, they're also a big sponsor of 3 Guys in a Garage, and we've gone out and done a couple shows in Riverside, right there in the garage of A&B CarStar, a couple times in Smithville, even hit St. Joe for Chiefs night one night during training camp. But Brett Bailey and the crew at A&B CarStar do a great job, and they're big fans of high school athletics, and appreciate those guys being on board.
Got a little water break here with 7:53 to play here in the 4th quarter, and I'll take this opportunity to talk to you about a new sponsor here on our high school football coverage, the Kansas City Command of the Arena Football League. They play their indoor football seasons at Sprint Center and unveiled season ticket pricing just this week. Call 855-KC Arena, and you can watch exciting, fast-paced indoor football season, indoor football in the off-season. It's March through July.
And it's reasonably priced, isn't it? I mean,
reasonably
you can get
priced.
family
You
tickets
can get
out there
in there.
really cheap.
So get your season tickets, 855 KC Arena, or email tickets@kccommand.com and go watch Kansas City Command football. You can also listen to Kansas City Command football games right here on Sports Radio 810. I'm proud to be the voice of the Command. Call games with Stan Weber. And we would love to have you inside Sprint Center. We're trying to sell it out for the season opener next March. Dates to be announced. Season tickets will go on sale, or single game tickets will go on sale later, but season tickets on sale right now, 855 KC Arena. Back to action here, and Luke Knott takes the snap and runs it to the 30-yard line. I said Luke Knott. It's actually Hartnett. Knott hasn't taken a snap here in the second half, and it's a 3-yard gain for Hartnett.
You know, and it's why you have to look at some stats. You know, sometimes, you know, of course, Knott's going to not have all that great of stats for the night because he didn't play 4 quarters. So sometimes you wonder, you know, you look at a guy's stats and you really have to take into account, you know, the teams, the scores they put up, and what they're asked and not asked to do. Sometimes you guys see these guys' numbers, you're like, this guy's D1, but just keep it in perspective. When a team's running up the score, they, you know, don't use them to their abilities.
7:20 to play. He played a good half, and I suspect he had about 200 yards. We'll check some final stats
but
here
I'm
in a
saying
moment.
Total stats is
no
not going
doubt
to blow you off the deal, but you got to take it all into perspective when you look at a guy at the end of the year. Look at what the team did. That's the most important thing. Wins.
Couple of yard run there for the running back for Lee Summit West. It's going to be 3rd and 5 now with 6:45 to play. Chiefs apparently under the 10-minute mark of the third quarter.
Ricky Stanzi in there.
We'll have a pretty good hour or so for our post-game coverage. Friday Night Live, the scoreboard show. We'll certainly have time to get all the finals to you before that Chiefs game wraps up, it sounds like. No running clock in the NFL.
No.
I formation, now a toss play. And this is going to be short of first down yardage, about a 3-yard pickup.
Race Denton, the ball carrier.
Race Denton carried it for Lee Summit West. It's going to be a 3-and-out for the Titans, but let's be honest, at this point, they're not trying to get first downs. You know, especially now that the shutout's over, there's really both teams just trying to finish this game.
True. You know, this is a special year for Coach Boehm. It's his son's senior year, Evan Boehm. Those guys had so much fun playing together last year. He won a state title. Royce Boehm's a tough guy, but he comes to almost tears. Not only on the radio when you're talking to him, but after the football game in St. Louis, when they beat Webster Groves for the state championship game, there was Evan Boehm's son lifting up his dad after the game.
Right after this punt, we'll hear an update from that Park Hill Liberty game that's scoreless. Last time we heard, through 3 quarters. Punt is away, and it's going to be Simmons a chance to return it, but does not get in position to field the football. It's going to be down by Lee Summit West at the 39 after a bit of a Ray Peck bounce. Let's check in with Matt Pepper, Liberty and Park Hill. Matt?
Yeah, hi, this is Matt Pepper up at William Jewell College, Liberty versus Park Hill. Still 0-0, about 5:50 left in the fourth quarter. Park Hill is driving on Liberty's 30. Liberty has fumbled several times in the second half, giving Park Hill a couple opportunities, but they haven't been able to convert. Once again, this is Matt Pepper up in Liberty. 5:30 left in the fourth quarter.
Great, thanks very much, Matt. One of our PrepsKC.com reporters out in the field up at Park Hill and Liberty. No score in that game midway through the fourth quarter, and now a nearly 10-yard run for Aaron Russell. Tom Cruise wants Russell to be a guy they can really rely on in this running game with Kaufman graduated. So far tonight, it was tough sledding in the first half against the first-string defense.
And that's the one thing that Kaufman had to do. Remember when he started as a sophomore, he didn't run the ball a whole lot. Then his junior year started to run the football more. By his senior year, you know, Cameron Kaufman was not only throwing the ball, but he was also the one running the football all the time as well.
Handoff. Little misdirection there. That's kind of the Ray Peck offense we're used to, and a little bit of running room there for Steve Brown.
They've kind of gone away from what they used to do, the old double wing tee, the 2 backs inverted on the side, where they do a lot of misdirections, a lot of fake handoffs one way, reverses the other way. But they made a habit, and I have a hobby. They won 3 state titles using that offense. They had some dynamic running backs in the past, guys like Derek Washington, and all the yards he put up running the football out of this backfield.
Looks like they're trying to build a little bit of that rhythm right now, and there's some running room once again for Brown, and he gets more than the 3 yards he needed for the first down. In fact, picks up about 11 to the 32 into Lee Summit West territory. 49-6 is our score with 3:20 to go. Ray-Pec trying to tack on a late score here to make it a little more respectable, but complete domination here tonight, the storyline for Lee Summit West.
You know, absolutely from the opening bell, I mean, just everything was working for them. They had 14 points on the board before they even had a first down.
1st and 10 at the 32. Handoff goes to Russell. Russell, nice cut outside, trying to break a tackle, can't get free, but gets down to the 21-yard line. Another 11-yard gain and another first down for Ray-Pec. We want to remind you that high school football also brought to you by Aldi. Take the Aldi Food Market Challenge. Buy your groceries at Aldi Food Market. See how much you save. Aldi Food Market, honest to goodness savings.
Still the Ray-Pec fans staying in the stands. They're still full out here. A lot of people support this program.
Another 6 yards gained for Ray-Pec here as Brown gets the carry once again. Call it a 7-yard gain up to the 15-yard line.
Second down and 4 from the Titans 15.
Second along 3, short 4. And now here's a handoff up the middle. Simmons gets to the 13. Just short of the first down. He'll need a yard or two to move the chains. Nearing the 1.5-minute mark.
He's ready to go whenever.
3rd down and 2 from
3rd and 2 play here for Ray-Pec. It's Vogelsmeyer who's gone a lot of the way here in the second half. Hands off, and this is going to be running room and a touchdown for Steve Brown. A 13-yard scoring romp for Brown. The most efficient the Ray-Pec offense looked all night. We may be to the 3rd stringers, though, for the Lee Summit West defense. Still good to build a little confidence for this offense that struggles tonight.
Sophomore running back as well. That's good to see for Coach Cruz, a young guy like that, taking the football, following his blocks, and then putting on a little bit of acceleration once he got through the initial part of the line, putting the wheels on and getting into the end zone.
Minute 20 to play. We'll get an update from Brian Spano out of Rockhurst Blue Springs here after the extra point. We're going to have complete coverage from around the metro on the high school scoreboard show, Friday Night Live, coming up immediately following our game until Chiefs postgame begins. Extra point is good. And let's check in with Brian Spano, Rockhurst and Blue Springs. Brian?
Hey, guys. It's pretty crazy out here. It's been the Jordan Walker show. He has, well, 3 touchdowns on the ground and 1 through the air. He has over 300 yards rushing. He just wins. It is 28-14 with 3:11 the 3rd quarter. So, Rockers is really starting to take control of this game. Blue Springs has the ball right now. They just got a penalty on pass interference call. They're near midfield. Blue Springs, TV Stadium. This is Brian Spano with Press KC for WHB 810.
And you know what? You look at that Rockhurst team, you have a lineman in Christian Italy, committed to Tulane. On defense, Nick, they're so good. When you have linebackers like Alex Bales and Michael Rhodes, Bales, an all-state performer a year ago for Rockhurst. Blue Springs returning just 2 starters on defense. One of those DeAndre Hall that's playing offense and defense for that football team. But again, the injury to Kyle Brown in the offseason with the fractured throwing hand on his ring finger and his right hand. So we've had to really work in 2 quarterbacks out there, but look for Blue Springs to rebound.
Kick is fielded at about the 5, and now some running room for Lee Summit West out to the 30-yard line. Eric Carter brought it back for the Titans. This is the kind of game, Jay, where these spotting boards that we work so hard on to identify all the players that we're going to see tonight.
Like a record book, you tear it up and you throw it out the window.
You can just throw them all out, just tear them right up. When Ray-Pec's got the ball, they have a little bit of validity still. Lee Summit West is now going to be in victory formation.
It's a
Connor
coach's
Hartnett played the
favorite formation.
Played the entire way in the second half at quarterback. They did not put the third string quarterback in. He's a senior who hasn't gotten a lot of playing time because he's drew the unfortunate straw of being in a class with Luke Knott, who is a terrific quarterback. Kind of the Chase Patton syndrome, if you will, the guy who
or the Matt
Castle
syndrome.
Or the Matt Castle syndrome, right? He was with Matt Leinart, so that's going to be the last play of the game. Victory formation there for Lee Summit West, and a dominating performance for the Titans moves them to 1-0 as they try to stay the course in repeating as state champions. That's their motto this year, and so far so good. Evan Boehm leading the line to congratulate the opponents from Ray Peck. Evan, not only a great offensive lineman,